Hey, paging all the horror lunatics in the big gold belt atmosphere. My name is Zero Gravity, invading your screens with a very special guest today. I am joined by Mr. Don Mancini, best known as Chucky's dad. Mr. Mancini, I'm a big fan. Thank you so much for
You.
meeting with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, sure. So I'm not going to waste too much of your time. So let's get into the good stuff. You have created a legacy character that is so important to the horror community. Chucky is definitely still thriving in 2024 just as hard as he did back in 1988. And that's total skill as far as I'm concerned. Is there a key to creating a legacy character that sticks? Because we've had a handful of fresh attempts lately, and I'm not sensing anything close to Chucky's impact yet.
Well, Megan, people really love Megan.
She's the
Um,
closest we've gotten.
yeah, and they love Annabelle. And these are, and I'm just touching on the dolls, but thank you for saying that though, because I do appreciate that. And you're right. I mean, they are very popular characters, but they're still new. They have to see if they have the stamina to go the distance over many decades. I think that one of the reasons for Chucky's longevity and his, maintaining a presence in pop culture is that it's important to all of us that who work on the show to keep reinventing it. And I started doing this even before the TV show with the movies. I just try to switch it up in tone a bit every movie and now with every season of the show. And luckily, Chucky has proven to be a really versatile character. My cat is going to make an appearance here. Um, he's a really versatile character, and you can plug him into all kinds of different subgenres, and he still works. He works just as well as a straightforward figure of terror in a straightforward horror movie, but he also works gangbusters in comedy and horror comedy and different flavors of horror comedy. So I think that's one of the reasons why people still like him. Plus, we're always, I think he's unusual in that when you think of his brethren, Freddy, Michael Myers, Jason, I think we know a lot more about Chucky's character than we do about any of those other figures who really, I think part of their appeal is that they remain kind of unchanging in a way.
Mhm.
But I think, Chucky maybe is hoeing a different path.
I would
To
have to agree. It's the lore, y'all. It is
the
truly
lore.
the lore of Chucky that keeps us going forever and ever and ever, and hopefully for several more evers to come after that. So I'm going to flip this question now because for as immortal as Chucky's legacy is, we're now watching him come to terms with his morality in season 3, which is a seriously relatable topic. Tiff is also on death row, not crazy relatable, but also it stands. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Can you talk about the conception of this idea of Chucky and morality and maybe what we could see come from it in part 2?
Well, excuse me, I think, part of it is, write what you know. And I do raid my own life at times for material. And, Chucky and myself, we've been around a long time now. So I think what I find fun about Chucky is sometimes giving him surprisingly real and identifiable life dilemmas and existential dilemmas to deal with because it's just interesting to see Chucky. We were talking earlier just a couple minutes ago about other horror characters and pretenders to that throne like Megan and Annabelle. And that's something that I, as the creator of one of these characters, have to deal with. And then like the Child's Play remake from a few years ago, that was a big one. That's like for any writer in Hollywood, that's like sort of like a classic dilemma, and you're lucky if you even get there, that someone, that you've created a character that's popular enough that then someone wants to take it from you and do it themselves. So that was existentially troubling when that happened. And, I was afraid, like, well, what if that does really well? And then that could sidetrack my own plans for the character. Fortunately, it didn't play out that way. But dealing with potential uh waning power, whether that's physical power or influence, in the world or whatever. These are very universal dilemmas. And so it's something that I deal with as a human being, and Chucky deals with as a supernaturally possessed doll.
No one is safe from the idea of
Those are the
morality.
scariest things in life. And that's what one of the things you want to do in the horror genre is you want to create metaphoric expressions
Hmm.
of real life trauma or real life scary things, and
Hmm.
aging and obsolescence, so that these things are real, and they're the scariest things that we deal with. And
I totally agree. That's why horror is the best genre, because we kind of have a little bit of space for healing and tackling these conversations while still, having a blood-soaked good time. So
absolutely.
my last question for you is a bit of a throwback. But in 2021, I attended the Chucky panel at New York Comic Con, and I doubt you remember this, but I was able to ask you and Jennifer Tilly a question. So I asked if you guys had any conflict with the network concerning Chucky's F-bombs, now that he has to adhere to TV guidelines now. And 2.5 years ago, you told me that you were given a 10 fuck per episode guideline. So
Yeah.
I'm curious because we're seasons past that question now. I would like to know, given your success with the Chucky sci-fi series, has sci-fi extended your reservoir of fucks at all since season one?
They have.
I
Yes,
knew
they
it.
have. But not officially. There was never like an edict that said, "Hey, by the way, now we can do 15 or 20." I shouldn't even talk about this. Just like leave it alone, because they're like, I don't want to like, I want them to go, wait a minute, what are
Uh-huh.
we letting them get away with? But they do seem to have relaxed that somewhat, which is great.
And integral for your character. So I'm glad. I had a feeling because Chucky's not going to do this well, and you're still going to limit my guy on screen the way he's supposed to be. I
Right.
love, love, love to hear it. That's awesome. But I don't want to waste any more of your time today, Mr.
Not at all.
Mancini. That's all the time I got. So thank you again for taking the time to speak to me. I would wish you and Chucky the best with your world takeover, but I don't think you'll be needing it very much.
Oh, thank you.
So as always, everyone. I've been Zero Gravity. Thank you so much for watching. And make sure you catch the final episodes of Chucky Season 3, Part 2 on Sci Fi starting April 10th.
Thank you so much, Zero.